Hi, everybody. It's another fun-filled edition of Why Your Team is Not as Good as Mine. Whoa, God, we've got a guest. It's Carl.
Holy
Hi,
shit.
Carl.
Hi, Ben. How's it going?
Great, great. What are you up
Wonderful. Just going to talk some fantasy football with a good buddy of mine.
to? Oh, wow, you're so lucky. I want to talk about Ryan's team, and
God,
you
we
know,
have to.
it's unfortunate, but it's gonna happen.
Someone's got to do it.
Off the bat, I guess ESPN likes it. They've moved him up to second overall. I know Ryan likes it because
Who's he behind?
looks like well, it's really hard to understand what this chart means, but it looks like are you at number one? I think that might be your team at number one.
I think ESPN likes my team better than Ryan's.
Clearly, they can't be
just
judged.
so you know that, Ryan.
Fantasy pros, who are my fantasy bros, they have Ryan's team at number 3 overall. A lot of green, which
It's behind me again, Ryan.
if you're colorblind, green is, I mean, it's mediocre. So don't take a lot of trust in the color green. So let's take a look at Ryan's squad. Carl, I'm sure you're familiar with the routine here. What I like to do is start at the quarterback position.
It's a good place to start.
Is it? Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's at the top of the list.
Yeah, well, that is true.
Let's not overthink it.
We've got Todd Herbert and Kirk Cousins. Obviously, people are really they're optimistic with Herbert. He's got that new Kellen Moore offense, which I guess means they run a lot more plays. I didn't realize that Herbert finished last year as QB 11. So you'd have to
I
think.
didn't realize he was that low.
Yeah, you'd have to think he improves from QB 11. Kirk Cousins drives a minivan and doesn't swear. So, Carl, what are your thoughts?
Well, Kirk Cousins is the least interesting man on the planet, but he may be the best backup fantasy quarterback you can have. Like, he's boring, but solid as a rock. Like, he's going to put up solid numbers consistently. He's going to be available, doesn't get hurt. So, like, he's a good backup and makes sense to carry a backup in this league. Herbert, what you just said about Herbert finishing 11th, was it last year?
Mm-hmm.
A lot lower than I thought, but I like Herbert. He's a really good player, tends to put up good numbers. I do think the Kellen Moore offense plus adding Quentin Johnston to the existing Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, Eckler's still there. Like, offense is going to be good. Expect good things from Herbert. I don't know that Herbert has quite the same upside that you get out of your Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, because he doesn't really run. He's certainly not as reliable as your Mahomes and Josh Allen. We're not talking like a likely top 3 to 5 finish, but I think there's really good odds that he finishes as like the 7th best quarterback or something like that. Like, he's going to be good. I expect he'll be consistent. I don't think he's going to lose you weeks. He'll win. He'll probably win you a couple. I think he's got a good quarterback set, a good group of quarterbacks going into the season here. Got to give it an A.
See, I gave it a B, mostly because exactly what you just said. I mean, there's like 4 guys that you could give an A grade to, and Herbert's just right on the other side of that door waiting for somebody to let him in. So, again, yeah, not going to lose you weeks. Might win you a couple. He's well above average. He's just not quite elite for fantasy purposes. So
yep.
That's where I was at with it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Running back. Now, Ryan texted me and told me that his running backs would stomp a hole in everyone else's running back position. He's got David Montgomery, Christian McCaffrey, who is white, Dalvin Cook, Khalil Herbert, Jonathan Taylor. I'll say this: Christian McCaffrey, as well as being Caucasian, is in a timeshare. Whether you want to admit it or not, when Elijah Mitchell was healthy, and he's healthy now, this is true, he gave up at least 40% of his carries to Elijah Mitchell in every game they played together. And I don't see why that would change if they want to be a playoff team, right? So to me, that's maybe not a red flag, but it's like one of those yellow flags. Slow down a little bit. You gotta be on the lookout. Um, Everyone wants to project David Montgomery into the Jamal Williams role, right? Because obviously he's stepping into that same Detroit offense. You know how many times David Montgomery has finished with double-digit touchdowns? Yeah, it's 0. Yeah, it's never happened.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's really fair to project that onto him.
Is there any real reason to think that Jamal Williams' role is a real thing? Like, that wasn't really a real thing 2 years ago. It was a thing last year.
No, that's a good point too.
Yeah, it's Montgomery's likely to be solid, not great. That's what he always has been.
Yeah.
You know, Delvin Cook is a insanely large question mark. Like, okay, does he probably get the majority of the carries the first couple of weeks until Breece Hall hits the ground? Yeah, okay. But you got to think it's the Breece Hall show once he's ready to go.
Yeah, 100%.
Cook will get some, but that's at best when we're talking about very much a timeshare. And Cook is almost certainly to be the lesser of the two in that timeshare.
Yeah, I don't see a world in which it's not, at least 70-30 Breece Hall by like week 5, week 6, something like
You'd
that.
Sure think so.
Like
you'd sure think so. Herbert, fan of the guy, but who knows what the hell's going on there? They've never figured out what the hell they're doing with him, and why would they start now that they added Roschon Johnson? Is that what they call him?
Yep. And Dante Foreman.
Dante Foreman. So that's definitely looking like a timeshare there. And is that the kind of timeshare where he gets, 7 points every game, or is that more of a New England timeshare where he gets 20 points one game and gets 2 points the next game, and you're never picking the right one there?
I think the thing is, it's
Herbert scares me.
Justin Fields' backfield,
Well,
he's gonna get all the work.
That too, yeah, I have no idea what's coming out of that Bears offense. I don't know that anyone's besides Fields. I don't know what you can really expect reliably from anybody.
Right. The elephant in the room is Jonathan Taylor, right? What is Jonathan Taylor?
And you got to think he's going to end up playing somewhere this year, but where? For who? What's the role going to look like? You just don't know. And so they gave him until Tuesday to look for a trade. Well, what happens if you can't find one? Or like if they don't find something, if they don't make a trade, if Taylor stays with the Colts, does he play? Does he sit out? It's a huge question mark right now. It's could have a good thing if he's on the field, but if you don't, shit, man.
Yeah. It's this group. I mean, yeah, it's a talented group. There's reasons for optimism, but it's like a super wide range of outcomes, particularly because we just don't even know where Jonathan Taylor will be playing football or if he will be playing football,
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah, that's really the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's Jonathan Taylor 2 years ago, it's a good looking group of running backs. If he's Jonathan Taylor last year, it's pretty weak.
Yeah. Being the glass half full kind of guy that I am, I gave it a B+, mostly because I assume that Taylor isn't going to be stupid enough to actually carry any sort of holdout deep into the season,
Right.
So, but I
give it a B+
obviously
with Taylor and a C- without.
Right. I was gonna say, obviously, the Taylor thing would tank it pretty quickly if that fell apart. So, agreed.
Oh, all right. Wide receivers.
Yeah, Ryan texted me and said that his wide receiver group would just stomp a hole in anybody else's wide receiver group, particularly that Van Jefferson was going to be the best wide receiver two in all of football. Um, so we've got Justin Jefferson, we've got Cortland Sutton, Zay Jones, Quentin Johnston, yes, Van Jefferson, and Marvin Mims, who is not the guy from cartoons that tried to blow up Bugs Bunny all the time. That was Marvin the Martian. Different guy.
Bummer. I'd be more excited about Marvin the Martian.
Yeah. Well,
in my wide receiver room.
Without even trying to be like comically cynical about this, this is one of the worst groups in the league, right? Like, you've got Justin Jefferson.
It's Justin Jefferson and a bunch of just a guy.
Right. Like, outside of Justin Jefferson, if I had to tell you you have to start Cortland Sutton every week, are you really going to feel good about that?
No.
No.
Well, certainly not if you're telling me that he's my second best guy.
Yeah, right.
If you're like, hey, he's going to be the last guy in your flex every week. You're like,
right.
Okay, I can probably live with that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is your number 2 wide receiver. Hell, man, that scares me.
Yeah, every other guy outside of Jefferson is like a wide receiver 3 on their own team, which is just not a spot you want to be in, right?
Right. The one exception to that is a rookie. And actually, no, that's not even an exception. He is the wide receiver 3 on his team. He just has a good chance that he'll be the 2 or maybe even the 1 at some point because Allen and Williams can't stay healthy. But he's a rookie. What do you get out of rookie receivers? I mean, common knowledge until a couple years back was that rookie receivers take 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, guys like Jefferson have kind of blown that out of the water recently, but I don't remember anyone doing it last year.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you don't know what you're getting out of him. After Justin Jefferson, I don't care for this group much at all.
Yeah, there's hype about Marvin Mims, the rookie in Denver, but honestly, with Sean Payton there, I'm almost expecting Marquez Colston to come out of retirement and become the wide receiver 1 in Denver. So
wouldn't rule that out.
You're right. God, when I first looked at this, I had it at a B, but I think that might be too high.
I gave it a C, and that's because Justin Jefferson drags it up.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking, honestly.
Without Jefferson, who has a very realistic shot of being the number 1 receiver in fantasy football again. Without him, this group barely makes a D. I'm not even sure if they pass.
Yeah, you talked me into it. I have to change this because it really is. It's Justin Jefferson
and a bunch of dudes.
And the dudes, yeah. So
it's a terrible band name.
Right, that's exactly what it is.
All right. Moving on.
It's Mark Andrews. That's great. I give it an A. I mean, that's he's the second best tight end in all of fantasy, and what else do you really need, right? Like, I don't know.
Well, I gave it a B. Like you said, he's top tier tight end, legitimately. I have some questions about what that offense looks like this year. Now, odds are that Mark Andrews is still, the top receiving choice. But frankly, we just, kind of don't know for sure. I'm not sure what to expect there. I don't know what to think about the receivers there. I don't know that they know what to do with their running backs. And I'm still yet to be sold on Lamar Jackson. as a passer.
You're
But
such a
all
hater.
that being said, when he does throw, he likes to throw to Mark Andrews. So I think I gave it a B. I could probably pretty easily be talked into a B plus or an A minus. I don't think I'm ready to give it a full A.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, yeah, the new offense thing, a lot to be determined with how it will translate and how folks will pick it up and what it actually means. That's a fair point. Um, yeah, I just think, you know, if everything falls apart, yeah, you could bank on Lamar looking for Mark Andrews. So
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely true. So yeah, it's a damn good tight end. You can't do much better.
right, yeah, yeah.
You know, like he's a good. It's good. I'd like to deny it. Doing my best to nitpick here, but it's got a good tight end.
True.
Moving
All
on.
right. Now we're on to the defense, the true wild card. Um, Chenna Nwosu, I think I pronounced that right. White Trash Bosa, DeForest Buckner, and Cam Hayward. Has White Trash Bosa returned to the 49ers?
Not that I'm aware of.
Have anybody in the 49ers front office had positive things to say about any progress with negotiating with White Trash Bosa?
Nothing I've heard.
I think I saw something from who's that former football player who now runs the team. He said oh God, you know what? I'm going to find the quote right now.
Oh,
This is
good.
pertinent to our grading process.
Absolutely.
From John Lynch 2 days ago, quote, I don't like the situation about Nick Bosa's holdout. So that's from the GM of the football team. I don't like the situation. I don't know. So okay. Uchenna Nwosu, DeForest Buckner, Cam Hayward. Look, without Nick Bosa, I like those guys. Without Nick Bosa, does that change my grade? Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Without Bosa, that's a good group. With Bosa, it's a whole other animal. It may be the best group in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But
God,
I mean, are we talking? You know, I mean, it's probably a B without Bosa.
that's
You
fair.
talked me into that earlier. I mean, we're probably talking a B without Bosa. It's probably an A with him.
Yeah, no, that's
I mean,
probably
it's
fair.
it's still a strong group even if he's not there.
Yep.
And him playing takes it to another level.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
What he had, God, was it 30, 35 sacks in 34 games or something along those lines? Just an
wow,
outlandish number of sacks. So,
kind of
and
a
I
freak.
hate that guy. God, just what
Yeah,
a shithead.
yeah,
Anyway.
we all do. But
Linebacker. He's got a really good linebacker group. Bobby
yes,
Okereke, Frankie Love You, Levante David, Crybaby Quay Walker, Alex Singleton, Bless You Al Shair. It's a really deep group.
yep. I'm not sure that Al Shair is worth much at this point. Don't really know what to expect out of him. But honestly, he's your sixth guy, so who really gives a crap at that point? But yeah, the rest of it, it's deep. It's good. Like it's a good group of linebackers. It's it's hard to come up with anything real negative to say about it. I don't know. Um, I don't know if we've got the best linebacker in the league in this group, but we probably have at least two in the top 20.
Oh, I think you've got two in the top 10 right here. I think so. I think Okereke finished 4 or 5, and Luvu I think was right in that
Probably
range as
so.
well. So let's see.
I do not have that particular list handy at the moment, but
Luvu was 7.
I suppose I could look at it that way.
Okereke was 10.
So yeah, I mean that's let's see. David was 22, which for your third guy is pretty good. Walker was 28. Your fourth guy is damn good. Singleton was 21.
Yeah.
He's got 5 guys that finished in the top 30.
Yeah, I give it an A. I mean,
I'd
don't
like
know
to
how you
not,
can.
but I can't.
Right.
I be real. We'll get to the D-backs in a second here, but he's got a really damn strong defense, which is good because they're going to have to make up for his questionable running backs and wildly unimpressive receivers.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
So
D-backs.
the aforementioned D-backs.
Where he kept, how many of them did he keep going into the draft, Ben?
It was 6, I think. We've got Buda Baker.
I could have sworn it was 17, but
Galen Petrie, Gus Van Zant, Charles Leclerc, Derwin James, Timothy Chalamet, Jamal Adams, Tony the Tiger, and Roger Federer. So,
well, 2 to 4 of those are really good, and the rest are just hot garbage.
I think Tony the Tiger is pure upside this year. So that's.
Oh yeah, that's one of the 2.
Right.
Buda Baker and Derwin James, both just studs, consistent, reliable studs. Petrie, however freaking hell you pronounce his name, a good year last year. You had some concerns that I'll let you chat about in a moment here. But again, real good year last year. Jamal Adams has been damn solid in the past. Coming off an injury, basically didn't play last year, not particularly young anymore, but you can do worse for a 4th defensive back on your team. I can't get excited about him, but I can't, considering where he's sitting, I can't be all that, critical about him either. I mean, Baker and James make this a top-notch, they're top-notch starters.
Right. Yeah, the Petrie one, he finished last year, I think, as DB number 2. It might have even been DB number 1. DB number 1. But some big changes in Houston, if folks hadn't been paying attention. They brought in D'Amico Ryans as new head coach, who, of course, is going to change things over to his own defense, being a defensive guy. He completely revamped the linebacker room, which is of note because Petrie was basically the second linebacker last year, which, lends heavily to the amount of tackles and everything else he did. On top of that, D'Amico Ryans also brought in Jimmy Ward from San Francisco to be his primary DB, right? So those snaps are going to eat into anything that Petrie was doing. So, yeah, obviously he put a lot of game on tape. He had a really good year, but you got to think that the scheme change and some of those responsibilities are going to change with a new head coach in town. So I wouldn't be quite as excited with that one. But I mean, yeah, obviously good player, plenty to be excited about, but be a little bit leery about how things will look once the season starts.
And there again, we are talking about his 3rd defensive back.
Yeah, that is true.
So, I mean, if he's your 3rd guy, there's a good chance he's still going to put up solid numbers. It's just not, it's a fairly decent chance he's not replicating quite what he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think overall, I got to give the group an A again.
Yeah, if he could add another 2 guys, I would move it to an A+, but still give it an A as well. So as much as I want to deny it.
You got overall for this group?
So before, I had it sitting at a B. It was a solid 3.0. It was a B. It was my highest grade up to this point. But that was before you talked me into moving his wide receiver group back down to a C, which I do think is warranted, not just to snub him from the highest grade up to this point. So if we bumped that wide receiver group down to a C, that puts him at a C plus, a 2.8. So that's kind of where it's at right now.
I like it.
Sorry, not sorry. I gotta be real for everybody, right? So
absolutely,
yeah. But I mean, it's a really good team. The defense especially is going to really make a difference.
Yeah, defense is rock solid.
Yeah.
I haven't taken a deep dive into the whole league or anything, but just looking at it, I feel like there's a good chance it's the best defense in the league.
It's got to be up there. I mean, it's got to be top 2, top
definitely
3
up there.
Worst,
there can't be it can't be anyone that's much better if there's anyone.
Right. So. Yeah, that a lot hinges on that Nick Bosa development. So stay tuned.
That's true. Yep, absolutely. And Jonathan Taylor. He's got a couple of really big question marks that could make a huge impact on this team, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, man. Carl, thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you for having me on. Let's do this again soon. We got a couple more teams we want to talk about.
We certainly will. Yes, we're going to do that. So be on the lookout. A couple more on the way.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, man. See you guys.
Yeah. See ya.